What's good? 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 What's good?
Well, hello, good evening, everybody, and what is good? Oh man, it is so good to be on with you all. That music, that scratch is banging. My team has actively told me that I am not allowed to dance on these calls, but it just makes me want to. Never mind, I'm too old for that. Okay, hey, y'all, it is so good to be back with you in this month's What's Good. The chat is popping. Hey, Leslie, y'all made it to Tennessee. That's awesome for spring break. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Shay, Tia, Deborah, Sherry. Oh, it's so good to see you all dialing in for What's Good this month. So it is a delight to be back with you. My name is Joshua DuBois, and I'm the CEO of Values Partnerships. And listen, what this is all about is we get together every single month to talk with you all and to hear from you about what's new and what's next and what's good in our communities. Listen, there is a lot of stuff out in the world about the challenges that we face, about the drama, about the fighting and the dragging and the discord. We see it all over our social feeds every day. But we decided as a company that we wanted to curate a space every month where we could focus on problems that we could solve, projects that inspire us, people that we love, music and art and activism that transforms. And that, my friends, is what's good. And you know, we don't just want to talk on these calls about what's good with us. We also want to shout out what's good with you all, people that have joined us from around the country that are literally lighting up the chat right now. And so we actually asked people in the RSVP process to share what's good in their lives. And I just want to shout some of the folks who sent some of their good news in. And if there's some people that we're missing, please feel free to drop your good news in the chat so that we can celebrate you. But here's some of the people that RSVP'd. Crystal Hyatt from New York let us know that she passed her license exam for her Master's of Social Work, and she's now officially licensed to practice social work and impact people's lives. So huge congratulations to Crystal. Everlyn Winslaff Woodbury shared that after 6 months since being diagnosed with breast cancer after chemotherapy and a lumpectomy and radiation, she is cancer free. Come on, Everlyn. Congratulations. We are so proud. And I saw Crystal's in the chat, and I hope Everlyn is here as well. We are just beaming with that good news about your health. Kalia Lee from Los Angeles said that she's defending her doctoral dissertation. We are so excited that she's made that step in her doctoral journey. My man, Reverend Dr. Brandon Davis from Ohio, has a new appointment as the senior pastor of Warren AME Church. He let us know, and so we're celebrating him. Christy Long from Daytona Beach, Florida, said her daughter Jade is graduating high school. She's a senior with a 4.2 GPA, and she just found out that she's been accepted to Florida A&M. And so we are celebrating Jade. We got a few more that we're going to do at the end of this call, but congratulations to all of those who sent some of that good news in. We're going to keep the good news rolling with some absolutely amazing guests tonight. This month, we're excited to be joined by the award-winning actress Aja Naomi King and Full Circle Strategies Joteka Edie. And you're going to hear about an awesome new show that you have to tune into called Lessons in Chemistry on Apple TV+. If you want to write a book, you have to stay around to hear from Candice Benbow, who's a new Gardner literary agent. She's going to talk about her new role and some of the things that are upcoming with her. We're going to chat with Deesha Dyer, the former White House social secretary, who's going to give us a sneak preview of her memoir, Undiplomatic, that's right around the corner. And if, like me, you are trying to figure out what to do with these kids, we have an awesome resource for you in my very own wife, Michelle DuBois, who's going to share a new platform for parents that is in soft launch and is coming soon that you can follow right now. Plus, stay on for the full show. At the end of the call, we're going to be giving away a $500 gift card live right here on this stream. And so you won't want to miss that. And don't forget to stay connected to this community. We want to spread the word. You can actually text somebody right now, email them, post on Facebook that you're here, share the link. We would love for you to spread the word and shoot a just capture this this QR code now, or shoot a text to 202-221-6616 to join our text community. You're going to unlock access to giveaways. You'll find out about virtual events, surprise guests, and more. And so feel free to capture that QR code, and we'll bring that back up throughout the call. But for our first segment, let's just dive into it. I'd like to bring on my sister from another mister, Joteka Edie, affectionately known by Michelle and my kids as Auntie Jamaica. They couldn't say Joteka when they were little, so they call her Auntie Jamaica. She's the founder and CEO of Full Circle Strategies, and she's going to introduce our first segment. Joteka, over to you.
Thank you, Joshua. It's always so good to be with my good friends that values partnerships. And it's a really good night to talk about what's good. Good evening, friends. My name is Joteka Edie. I'm the founder and CEO of Full Circle Strategies. And I'm really excited to share a glimpse into an exciting show on Apple TV Plus. It is called Lessons in Chemistry. It is amazing. One of my newest favorite shows. I love television. It is a powerful series. But before I bring on our very special guest, let's take a look at a trailer.
In life, discoveries usually lead to more questions. The only constant variable is the unexpected. We can't control it. It's only when you look backwards that you see how it was all connected. Let's begin, shall we?
That's perfect.
I like to cook. It's just chemistry.
You're on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough.
This institution has a reputation based on the world-class scientists, not the theories of a pretty lab tech. We have rules.
You're firing me.
Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times.
I would like to offer you a job as the host of our cooking show.
Are you concussed?
No. You are poised to become a TV star.
Welcome to the final show.
We're live in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, viewers. This is Supper at 6. Do I need a catchphrase?
Don't overthink it.
Never understood what that meant.
I stand proudly with the overlooked workhorse of the kitchen, women, and baked potatoes.
What the?
Just stop your crying at the time of your life.
You've got something almost no one has.
Breaking through the atmosphere.
A platform. What you say matters.
Politics don't belong in the kitchen. A man wants his wife to make him a drink after a long day at work.
Why do you assume that his day was longer than hers? Why don't you make them drink?
Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times.
You are what I treasure most in this world. Not because you are pretty, not because you are smart, but because you love me and I love you.
We got to.
You can do it. You think you can't do it, and you do it anyway.
Your ability to change everything starts here. Children set the table. Your mother needs a moment to herself.
Wow. I get chills every time I see that. It's so powerful. It's so amazing. Now, I would like to introduce one of the stars. You know her from such hits as How to Get Away with Murder and the film The Birth of a Nation. Please, let's welcome award-winning actress, Aja Naomi King. Hey, girl, you look good.
Thank you. You look gorgeous as well.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to start off. First of all, congratulations. Second, I have to ask this question. What's good?
I was like, oh man, other people's what's good was like so good. Like, I'm like, congratulations to everyone for getting into new schools and for being cancer free. That is amazing. Like, that's such a blessing. I guess for me, what's good is, well, my 2-year-old son is on spring break right now.
Ooh.
And what is good is that I am surviving the week.
That, I bet the chat is filling up with all of those parents like you that have those that are on spring break. It's good. I bet for your 2-year-old it's very good. So
yeah, we're having a good time. Yeah.
The chat is lighting up right now with a lot of comments that share with you. They all have the same very good that's going on. So, well, I think we all saw this trailer. I've seen the series so many times. It's so powerful. I think for anyone who just seen this trailer, who have seen Lessons in Chemistry, we're in the middle of or closing out Women's History Month. I think International Women's History Month, it's always Women's History Month for me. But I think for anyone who sees this, they understand it is really about the power of women and the power of the voice of women. Can you talk to us, for anybody who hasn't seen this, who hasn't caught the buzz, tell us a bit more about Lessons in Chemistry?
Yeah, so Lessons in Chemistry it's based off a book by Bonnie Garmis, and it is the story of Elizabeth Saw, played by Brie Larson. And she is an aspiring chemist in the 1950s who was unjustly kicked out of her career. And in that sorrow and disappointment, she's opened up to this whole other beautiful world where she meets my character, Harriet, and we become friends bonded in motherhood and being women during this time period, women who aspire for something more, who refuse to not be heard, and build our own beautiful community from that bond and friendship, and try to positively impact the lives of those in our community and all of those around us.
Thank you for that. And Harriet is such a powerful character. She's such a strong woman. As you were reading this character and learning more about Harriet, were there any parts of Harriet's character, her personality, that drew you in? Are there parts of her personality that you find resemblance in your own life?
Harriet, first of all, when they told me that they wanted to do a story about Harriet seeking to fight the Highway Commission from building a freeway through the Sugar Hill community in Los Angeles, I was like, wait a minute, what? And it was a story I hadn't heard about, a community that I didn't know existed because it was decimated. And for one, I was already like, that's so powerful. That's powerful, necessary storytelling. And so learning the story about this woman who said, I'm going to take action and I'm going to fight the powers that be to try and save my community, not just for myself, but for my children and for everyone that's living here. And I was so in awe at what I am sure have been many, many women during that time, many, many Black women during that time that had to stand up and fight, that tried to protect their communities and just make life better for everyone around them. So I was incredibly inspired by Harriet and so excited to play such a powerful presence. But the other thing that I really loved about Harriet is that we also got to explore tension in her marriage and in being a mother and being a woman and wanting so much more for yourself in a world that is trying to force you to be less, and how she just continued to push and fight against that.
I think that's a very, very powerful point that you make, Aja, about just the multidimensional nature of Harriet, the wholeness of who she is, and how this so beautifully shows the wholeness of what it is to be a woman, the wholeness of what it is to be a Black woman in this moment in time. I want to go into, midway through the series, and I know everybody's watching us are going to go run and go see this. There's some very poignant scenes, particularly some scenes where Harriet is really stepping in to her voice and her leadership. What was the vibe like on set? What was it like working with this remarkable award-winning cast and crew?
Yes, I mean, it was phenomenal because it was so collaborative and so supportive. And I have to say, like, Brie especially, she was always saying to me, like, does that feel right? Does that feel real? Does that feel true? Like, and I think because she was an executive producer on this project, she just wanted everyone to be able to stand in their own power and have ownership over the characters that we were portraying. So like that already just had built this level of comfort of being able to stand in that presence, much like the characters we were portraying, and not be afraid to say, like, that's not quite it. It needs to be a little bit more of this. And like when you have that kind of just like safety and fullness of responsibility, the artistry you are able to embody in that moment is so much more powerful and so much more true.
I think that's so important. And when we think about the themes, that is just so many themes of empowerment, the role of women in the workplace, discrimination against women in the workplace, educational disparities, all of these issues that so many women still grapple with, this very important word of inclusion. Mm-hmm. What would you hope that anyone that is watching this would walk away knowing and or feeling, having experience watching Lessons in Chemistry?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway from this show has always been that life is full of surprises and that we have to keep going, because on the other side of surprise can be something truly miraculous.
Ooh, you're dropping good nuggets, sis. Ooh, on the other side of it is something good and miraculous. I love it. It's like, what's good? We're going to have to put what's good in gems too.
Yes, right.
Yes, sis. Well, for those who want to dive into Lessons in Chemistry, when and where, how can they find it? Tell everybody. I think they could get a hint, but let everybody know.
You can find Lessons in Chemistry streaming now. All the episodes available to you on Apple TV+.
Absolutely. So you can binge watch it, everyone. So you can watch it, keep going. I promise you, it's very hard to stop. And how can we find you and follow you so we can keep up with what's good with you?
You can always follow me on Instagram at Aja Naomi. I'm like Aja Naomi _King. I think that's
We'll make sure we get it out to everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Aja. Thank you so much. And have a wonderful spring break. Enjoy the spring break. We'll be watching to see how good it turns out. Thank you for everything that you're doing, this powerful new series, and all of the work that you've done through the span of your career. And we're going to continue to watch and continue to cheer you on, and know that you continue to do all things good. Thank you so much. Well, everybody, thank you. It's so amazing. For those of you, you can stream all episodes of this series. I'm telling you, you can binge watch it. Lessons in Chemistry, exclusively on Apple TV+. If you don't have it, run, don't walk, go get it. Stream all of these episodes. It is so amazing. It is a testament to the power of women, the power of the voice of women. And we are just so grateful to have had opportunity to have Aja with us tonight to talk about her powerful role as Harriet. Thank you so much. Back to you, Joshua.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joe Taka. So grateful for you and excited about Lessons in Chemistry. Y'all get your binge on this weekend, and let us know what you think, and we'll certainly pass that word on to Aja. But also, in addition to getting ready to tee up Apple TV+, I need you to tee up your Amazon accounts, because y'all gonna want to pre-order this next book that's about to come up, and I'm going to introduce them in just a moment. Just want to shout out a few people who have popped in the chat. I see my man, Dr. David John from the National Black Justice Coalition. My brother is on the line. Hey, Starla Campbell. Hey, Chiquita Laws. Joe Freeman. So delighted to have you on. This is a family affair, and we are so glad that y'all are here. And we are very glad that Sharice Perry is on the line. Sharice is our Chief of Staff at Values Partnerships Engage, and she has a phenomenal guest that she's about to introduce you to. Like I said, just remember, get your Amazon ready. You're going to want to pre-order this one. So, Sharice, over to you.
Thanks, Joshua. As Joshua said, I'm the Chief of Staff here at Values, and I'm super excited because our next guest is not only an author and someone I admire professionally a great deal, she's also a friend. So I'm super excited to talk to her. But before I introduce her, let's take a look at the trailer for her upcoming book, Undiplomatic.
When I got a call from the White House one hot summer in 2009, I had no idea my life would change forever. I'd never been regarded as someone who was diplomatic. I'd constantly been told I had an attitude problem that would lead me nowhere. That message planted a seed that grew, causing me to think something was wrong with me. But not only did I make it somewhere, I dug up the root of impostor syndrome and discovered it's just an oppressive term of illusion. Undiplomatic, the book, is an engaging, inspiring, and candid tale of a Philly girl who ended up curating events with world leaders, entertainers, activists, and everyday people. Storytelling has the power to transform, to humanize, and to connect. There is a vulnerability when we tell our stories, a vulnerability that commands us to be free. And this is mine.
So Deesha Dyer is the founder and president of the social impact agency Hook and Fasten, and she's a woman of many, many talents. She's a philanthropist, a community organizer, and she helps Black girls travel the world through her organization, Be Girl World Global Scholars. But the role that she's most widely known for is as White House Social Secretary to President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama. Deesha, welcome to What's Good. We're so happy to have you, girl.
I'm so happy to be here. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? What's good? Sharice, what's good?
Deesha, the book. I really, really enjoyed the book. Gosh, it's funny. You are hilarious. It's honest and it's really real. It was like having a conversation with you.
Yeah. Yes. That's exactly how we wanted it. Yep. Exactly.
I loved it. I heard your voice throughout it. So for folks who don't know you, so your journey to the White House is nothing short of inspiring, right? Mm-hmm. For those who don't know as much about how you got there, tell us a bit, right, about that journey and what inspired you to share your story and your book, Undiplomatic.
Definitely. So first of all, thank you, Joshua, and the rest of the team for having me here. And I'm so happy to be in conversation with Sharice. And thank you all for tuning in. So, my story is definitely an interesting one in the sense that I had dropped out of college 2 times, and then I went back to college when it was in my late 20s. And that was around the time that Barack Obama was running for president. I was not involved in politics at all. I think maybe I came to DC for a school trip one time. I don't even remember that. But I was very moved by this whole hope and change campaign and seeing this Black man really command a stage and speak to issues from our community. And so I wanted to get involved. And one day I got an application for a White House internship. I was 31 years old. I was at community college. I'd only been at community college to get 12 credits at that point. But I was qualified to apply because I had the college, I was in college. And so at 31, I applied and I used my hip hop background. I was a hip hop journalist and social worker and a bunch of other things that I did. And I was able to write a great essay about hip hop and urban education and got the internship. And then from there, they hired me back right away, probably about 4 months after I was done. And then I rose to the senior official position of social secretary in 2015, where I stayed until 2017. So that is the culmination of the story. And the book kind of takes us through all of that because it really was a struggle to be like, I don't even have a college degree. How'd I get here? And I graduated college while at the White House. So I was able to get my associate's degree in 2012. So 3 years after being an intern.
Anybody who can graduate college while being at the White House.
I know. I can't believe I did it.
So, in the intro of the book, you tell us that ironically, imposter syndrome was coined, an official sort of term the same year as your birth. And then you go on to say something that I tell you, I had to read it a couple of times. Say, over time, the term has taken on a life of its own and become a brand that put the ownership on women and others who are treated like their lives don't matter, right? Making it seem like either they were being delusional or they had the power to change their inner feelings of doubt by analyzing, correcting, or controlling for their own actions.
Yes.
This, in essence, is a sham, a scam, a genius move. It ignores the impact and hold that systems have on us by redefining behaviors of sexism, racism, classism, homophobia, ableism as imposter syndrome. I had to read this a couple of times. It's trickery of the mind that has transcended to people of all walks of life, especially those who've been historically oppressed and discounted in our society. Who says we aren't qualified?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you go on to say a couple of sentences later, I used to be embarrassed that it took me so long to come to the reality that I'd been duped into believing it was always me and my problem to solve. When truthfully, I just had to cut the puppet strings. That's easier said than done. I get it. There was a lot there. I had to, I went back to it a couple of times and I sort of had to sit and ask myself, right? You know, so many of us want to be that answer, but we don't stop to ask, like, who's asking the question? Who's setting the standard?
Exactly.
Why have we not talked about all these other confounding factors? So I'm so glad you were explicit about that.
Yeah.
Tell us about this time in your life and, you know, when you decided you needed to cut the puppet strings. How did you go about doing that? I'm sure that there are folks on the line who could really benefit from hearing from you about that.
Definitely. And I love that. When you read that, it's so interesting to me because I'm like, who wrote that? I wrote that.
You girl, you wrote it.
I wrote that. But it was a realization when I went to therapy and my therapist told me to write down, you know, the names of people or the names of where I got it from that I wasn't qualified. And he was like, you know, in the last year, can you come up with those names? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, who do you feel like you owe for your survival, for your living, for your, you know, going to the White House? Who do you owe? And I was like, is this a trick question? Like, I don't owe anybody. Like, I don't owe anybody. And it got me to thinking about how there are so many systems that have been in place since I was a young girl, as a young Black girl, telling me that I was loud, telling me that I was bold, I was aggressive, and labeling me, where I started to believe that, right? And so those images, those you know, iterations, those negative affirmations kind of planted a seed in me, right? And so I always say it planted a seed when I was young, and that seed produced a root, and that root produced a tree that produced branches. And then by that point, I'm a full-fledged adult that has these, you know, these problems with confidence. And so for me, I had to realize that it is an oppressive term of illusion that is in the universe by people that are like, let's continue to make her feel like she's unqualified because she has a community college degree. They don't say that, but their microaggressions, their regressions, how they act, how they talk to me, how they do all these things. I was like, oh, okay, like I see what you're doing here. So for me, cutting the puppet strings wasn't only digging the root up, but it also for me was taking that weight that it was my fault or my responsibility. Imposter syndrome is not my fault. It's not my fault. Like, it is the fault of so many systems and so many things that happened growing up to me directly and indirectly that made me feel like that I was not qualified, that I was not deserving. The president and first lady never told me that. Nobody ever told me that at the White House. So where did it come from? So once I cut those strings and was like, oh, I got the weight off of me that it's my fault, that made me walk lighter. To be like, now I can walk forward and now address, because it doesn't make it go away. You know, and that's the thing. I think that we want this magical cure. It doesn't make it go away. But what it does is it realizing that it's an oppressive term of illusion makes it be like, I get that off my chest. It's no longer my fault. Now I can work on reversing that and kind of unlearning and reconditioning myself to love myself, right? And so that is how I cut the strings. Lots of therapy, lots of lots of accountability, lots of positive self-talk to myself, lots of cutting the people who spread those messages to me. And you know, that's what I had to do, you know. So yeah, that's how I did it.
So there's this line in the book where you say, I wasn't what I'd call the ideal candidate, but I was the right one.
Yes.
And this is in reference to when you were applying to the White House intern program. So, what advice would you give to other people who are feeling out of place in their own success and are battling with imposter syndrome?
Yes. What I would say is that you not only deserve to be there, but you were placed there. You curated that experience for yourself. No one did that for you. You curated that. So even if somebody says, I got this job for you, they didn't get the job for you. You had to go through an interview. You had to go, you had to put on display your intelligence, your smart, your personality. So I think that when people think that, measure this, who are you measuring it up against? Because most of the time, we're not measuring against people that look like us. We're not measuring up against people who have our best interest. It's people that are concerned about the status quo. So evaluate, who am I putting my success against? Like, once I asked myself that question, I was like, wait, why am I doing that? Like, why am I going by the definition of success that was made for me to never be in power or leadership? And that's what the litmus test, that's what I'm using. That's the measurement I'm using. So I would say is, number one, take ownership that you curated your own life and that you did. Whoever helped you, great, but you had to show up. But then also assess whose success are we trying to, who are we trying to be? Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to be like you. I don't need to be like you. And I'm always going to fall short because I'm not you. Right. So I think that we need to think about that a little bit more. And then also, as people who, are in leadership positions, we need to big up some of these people that are younger than us, different from us. Like, they're not going to walk like us. They're not going to talk like us. They're not going to have the same interests. And that's okay. Right. Because your value lies in who you are, not what you do or what you bring.
Amen. 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 I love it. I love it. I love it. Deesha, I know a lot of folks. I mean, the book is amazing. Tell people where they can find it, when it's out, how they can follow you so they can stay up to speed on what you're doing.
Yes, you can get the book wherever you get books, wherever your preference is. Small indie bookstores is great. Amazon, Target, Barnes & Noble, all those places. You can buy it in bulk. For those of my folks who got the ching ching, you can buy it in bulk, give it out to some organizations or whatever. That's completely fine. You can find me at basically all platforms, Deesha Dyer. Instagram, I'm most active. It's DEEDYER 267. So that is where people can find me. That's where they can get the book. So that's where I am.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Cherise. It was so great.
Oh, I love having conversation with you. I think Joshua.
Yeah, man, this has been awesome. I love it. I mean, shoot. This has been a preached word, Deesha. I'm about to pass the offering plate because you got it.
Oh, please pass it right on to Amazon.
In here. And I love my homie Leslie's comment. All she put was adds to cart, which is amazing. That's what we want to do in terms of supporting these books. But you're right, small indie bookstores matter a ton. Now, real quick before you go, Deesha, we in the RSVP process, we asked some folks if they had any experiences with imposter syndromes that they wanted to speak into the call. And a couple folks just reached out and said that this is something that they have grappled with and would be delighted to connect with you. I think we have Keisha Washington. Keisha, are you out there somewhere? Hey, Keisha.
Oh, hi, Keisha.
Hi, you all. Hello.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We know that you are an educator, a school counselor, and we're so grateful for your service to our kids. And you let us know that you've kind of struggled with this from sometimes. Even after 11 years as a school counselor, you found yourself sort of doubting and wondering if you are worthy of being in that space. But you've also developed some practices for overcoming imposter syndrome. Just tell us a little bit more about that. Just kind of what you walked through and any of the practices that you may want to share with others. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story with us.
Yeah, no problem. First of all, Deesha, you were preaching beyond belief. I was back there like insert the clapping emojis, but
thank you.
Just a little bit about my background briefly. I'm of Haitian descent. So just being a first generation American, imposter syndrome's here, just having a parent who says, I came here on a boat, you have no obligations but to be the best. You must become a doctor. You must do this, right? So growing up in a single parent home, I spoke about that in my posts as well. But One of the biggest things is I've always found myself continually going for education. So I'm in school right now with a 5th degree, feeling like I need to get more and more, which is great, but it's the cause of that imposter syndrome, right? It's the parents, it's the anxiety that it caused. When you spoke about the microaggression, so much of that especially happens being African American, but also being first generation American working in education. So I challenge my doubts a lot. A lot of it is spiritually for me. So I definitely use Christ for that. But therapy is number one. I go religiously every 2 weeks, not only for my sanity, but also for the sanity of the students that I work with, right? Because when you do have imposter syndrome, that is showing with the people you serve and everything that you do. And I don't want it to seem like that when I'm counseling students and working with them.
Yeah, that's so good, Keisha. And by the way, spirituality and therapy can go hand in hand. There's no conflict there at all. And love how, as we grapple with this and overcome and try to overcome every day, we're sending a message to the young people behind us. Deesha, how do you react to what you heard from Keisha?
First of all, you are beautiful, first of all. So I'm just like looking at you like, listen, I'm trying to get that skin. But no, I think that that's correct. I think that you found what works for you. You recognize, your triggers, you recognize these things. But what I love that you said is that it shows like you're not just going for you, but also your students. Because one of the things I talk about in the book, which was really hard to admit to, was that sometimes I wasn't the best leader, the best mentor, the best boss, because I was bottling all that up and I was taking it out on other people. And so I had to apologize and atone for that for people who work for me. And it was humbling, but I recognized that I did that. So I think that that is amazing that you have that perspective and insight. And I just, just big you up. And I hope that you are doing things for you that you love to do, frolicking, whatever like you like to do. I hope that you're taking that time to do whatever you want to do for you.
Yeah. And by the way, Keisha, Deesha doesn't know, but we are going to do a bulk order and you're going to be the first one to get this book. And so from us and Deesha, maybe we can drop by your crib and you can sign a few of them for us if you don't mind, so we can give some to
no, I'm going to come to where y'all are. Yeah, wherever y'all are.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Keisha. We had one more person that wrote in, I think Kimberly Stevens. Kimberly, you there? Hey, Kimberly.
Yes, I'm here.
Fabulous.
Hey, thank you. Well, I love your vulnerability, Kimberly, because you said, listen, I can't say whether I have overcome imposter syndrome. I'm still overcoming it and leaning into it from your seminary experience and more. But I love the solution that you had, an ongoing solution, which is you confronted it head on by starting a YouTube channel that you said every time I have to record an affirmation, it challenges me to heed and believe what I am saying. And so you just put yourself out there. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, about how you use putting yourself out there in a platform to tackle imposter syndrome?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, I will start with today because the voices, sometimes that imposter syndrome lives within you. It's the voices in your head. And so I had to tackle those voices. And I wrote myself a motivational video. I had my daughter to edit it. It dropped probably a few minutes ago because I had to hear myself say, I belong here. I had to hear myself say it. So I wrote it out. I read it. I recorded it. She edited it. I said, it has to drop today because it is for me, because I usually drop on Wednesdays and Sundays. And it's my way to confront the imposter. And how I confront the imposter is first with humility. Because, I got where I am, not on my own, but with the help of others and being a minister with the help of God, but also truth, because an imposter definitely does not want you to know the truth.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. And I love that you had to hear yourself say it out loud. Like, this like you said, the voices in our head can say one thing, but sometimes we have to vocalize the truth. And then that truth starts to manifest and builds and builds and builds until it gets into our bones. Deesha, what do you think about what Kimberly's telling us here?
No, I think that this is one. I think that is, I love that you do the videos that you have to hear your actual voice out loud. But what I think is really important that you said, and I'm so happy you said it, was that you're still confronting it. Because one of the things that was really important when I was doing my book is I kept saying, I don't want to seem like I've solved things. Like I want people to know that this is a constant work in progress. Obviously, like the publishers are like, no, say you solved it. And I'm like, I don't like to say that because every new environment I'm in, I'm going to feel like, should I do this? Should I do this? And I always want to be able to do different stuff and try different things. And some may always feel a little bit of lack of belief, but I never want people also to feel like if they can't overcome it, whatever that is, they're a failure. Then they're down on themselves even more. So just knowing that you're working through however you, like you said, making these videos, however you're doing it, whatever that you're doing is a step in the right direction. And I never want anybody to be like, well, I still feel this way after. That's okay. Like, that's okay. Just keep working at it. And I know that even though I have a book out and everything, I'm still nervous about, like the book coming out and is it going to be okay? And like, how could I not feel against like seasoned authors, right? But I know that, this is where I'm supposed to be, not only, God appointed, but, Deesha appointed. So yeah.
Both double qualified, God and Deesha, and honestly, that's all you need right there. But Kimberly, thank you so much. And by the way, you are going to get a book from us as well, Undiplomatic, as soon as it comes out, and so our team will be coordinating with you. And thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you, Sharice. Thank you, Deesha. This is awesome. We are so. What day does the book come out again?
April 23rd. April 23rd. Yes.
Set your calendar alerts so that you can get Undiplomatic. Go ahead and pick it up wherever books are sold. So thank you so much, and we'll be in touch again soon. Listen, y'all, this has been amazing. Do not get off this line. We got 2 more amazing guests and an awesome giveaway. We got a $500 giveaway that's going to happen live at the end of this call. There is a giveaway feature in StreamYard. I am praying that it works so that y'all don't get mad at me. And so I think this is going to work, and we're going to do it live on the call at the end. We also just want to encourage you and remind you to sign up for our text community. Capture this QR code or text JOIN to 202-221-6616. Again, that's JOIN to 202-221-6616. And you will be connected to us over text. And now we are so excited for this next segment. Bring on some of my favorite people, please. Where are Samantha Williams and Candice Marie Benbow? Are they there? Hi. How y'all doing? So Samantha Williams is the vice president of brand and community at Values and our sister research company Gauge, and she has done tremendous work with us for years on so many different fronts. And our special guest is our good friend, writer, literary agent, just disruptor for good, Candice Marie Benbow. And she has an awesome new role that Samantha is going to get into. Do y'all know too many book agents? I don't know too many book agents, but when I found out that Candice was one, I said, we got to get her on What's Good, because there may be some authors who need to know about her. People need to be sharing the word about Candice's platform. And so we wanted to have her on to tell you about this new role. And then after Candice, we're going to have my very own wife, Michelle, join us to talk about a new parenting platform. And then we're going to close out with our giveaway. So Samantha, over to you, my friend.
Yes, thank you, Joshua. And I am excited to be here with my red lip sister who inspired me. And my heart is already so full from this conversation. And I'm excited to just keep this atmosphere going with the one and only Candice Benbow. I first came to know you as a bold truth teller on social and just being someone who stirred so many important and nuanced conversations in our culture, in our community through your writing. And so the bonus has just been able to do this work together at Values Engage. And so tonight, I'm excited to talk to you more about your new role as an agent for Gardner Literary Agency. So first and foremost, congratulations. That is a big deal.
Thank you.
It's a very big deal. Tell us a little bit about your new role. And for people who don't know you, how does this fit into your career and your journey so far?
Wow. So thank you. You know, I love y'all at Values and Engage. Y'all are family. So whenever you call, I say yes. But I am a literary agent at Gardner Literary Agency, which means that I have the beautiful opportunity now to represent authors who have an amazing story or book that they want to share with the world. I represent them, walk with them from the idea phase, book proposal phase, to presenting it to various publishers to get them a deal so that they can then work with their editor to go ahead, get that book done so they can be like Deesha out here changing our lives with their story.
Yes, I love that, and I feel like there's a lot of stories that are out there waiting to be told. So, we know you're going to be finding these authors. What subjects are you most interested in, and what sort of makes an author compelling to you?
Yes, so I'm gonna tell you right now, I am the same way that you talked about the kinds of conversations that I have on socials. Those are the kind of conversations and the kind of projects that I'm looking to represent. So critical theory, pop culture, nuanced conversations about progressive religion and spirituality. Like what is happening in the world right now, and what do you have to say about it, right? Like, and I want for authors, emerging and aspiring authors, to think through, right? Like, how do they use their platforms every day to push these conversations? A lot of us don't think that those platforms matter, right? So like you need to be talking on Facebook, you need to be talking on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, because publishers look at this to say, hey, what kind of conversations are they leading in their social spaces? And so I am really excited about that voice that says, hey, there's a lot going on in the world. Here is a nuanced perspective. Here is a humorous perspective. Let's think about it this way. Those are the kind of authors and those are the kind of writers that I'm looking for.
Yeah. I love it. And you've been such a disruptor. So I'm excited for you to find the other disruptors.
I know, because I'm tired.
And I know that you will find them. And we are all tired, but I know that you will find them. In your view, how has the literary landscape changed? And how do you plan to sort of navigate these changes at Gardner?
What I love about being at Gardner is that Rochelle Gardner, who is the lead agent there, was my, I call her my first agent, but she actually was my second agent. I had a horrible experience. And a white woman by the name of Rachel Held Evans, who passed in 2019, reached out to me and was like, hey, meet my agent, Rochelle. And Rochelle really came along at a time where I was told I wasn't a good writer, that what I was saying really didn't matter. And she really inspired me. And I think that one of the things that's important for all of us, particularly Black folks, Black women especially, is to realize that our voices matter in this moment. A lot of us saw a range of conversations that happened the summer of 2020, right? And everybody was saying, oh, it's important for us to talk about race. It's important for us to have these nuanced conversations. Those kind of felt like they died down in publishing a bit afterwards. Now we have a rise in anti-critical race theory conversations, anti-DEI investments and pursuits. And it matters that there are folks of color, Black women, Black people, who are saying these are our experiences. This is what our history is. So that we can ensure that we have a record, right, of our history, set the record straight, make sure that we are part of the narrative. And I'm really just excited about being a part of the agents who are championing those voices. That was what really brought me into it. Like, I reached out even when I left my agent, Rochelle, and moved on to another agency. I told her, I said, my mom always told me that it's not enough to go into a room. You need to hold the door open so that other people can come in that room behind you. And me as a literary agent, I really feel like is my attempt to hold that door open so that some sisters, so that some can folks, so that some other people can come in this room, continue to change publishing so that our representation, our stories, our experiences are not just documented for us, but for the generations that are coming behind us.
Yes, yes. Come on, Candice, you're bringing a word of purpose. You are bringing a word of purpose. And for those who are, for any authors who are interested in, publishing, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you, for them to be able to submit their work? And then do you have any tips for them to make their submission stand out?
Yes. So the first thing you're going to need is a book proposal. Everybody got an idea. And I think ideas are amazing. Understand that what's going to set you apart is a strong book proposal. There are several book proposal books, and I'm actually getting ready to tell y'all the name of the book that I used. I tried to find it. It was called How to Write a Book Proposal by Jody Ryan and Michael Larson. I used that book when I wrote mine, and that's the one that I recommend to folks. So once you have a solid book proposal, you can submit it to me at Gardner Literary, and make sure that you say, like, I want it to go to Candice. I am on socials that you can shoot me a quick message or DM. I try to be as accessible as possible, but my first piece of advice to you is to get your book proposal. Make sure that you are really working to hone in on your idea. My second big piece of advice, and this is very important, none of us know what we're doing. So if you do not get overwhelmed and think, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to write a book, so I must not supposed to write a book. It was 2 days before Red Love Theology came out, and I reached out to my editor and was like, so we can't pull it at all because I don't think I really did a good job, right? So and I am really about to I'm working on book number 2, and I was telling my friend the other day, I was like, I don't even think I remember how to write an outline. So do not think that because you are confused about this process, that because this is your first time doing it, do not think that that is in any way indicative that you are not called to write, that you are not a writer, that you are not an author. Do not think that. Just continue on the path, get as many resources as possible, take your time. It's overwhelming to all of us, but there are a lot of us here. If I can write a book and get it published, I'm living proof that God can do any and all things, and that no event in your life, no fear, no imposter syndrome can circumvent your purpose. And if it is your purpose, if it is in the plan of your life for you to get a book out, it's gonna happen. So, and I want to be a part of it in any way that I can. But those are my 2 biggest suggestions that I would offer.
Yes. Candice, thank you for your time, your energy, and giving us so many nuggets. I see so many folks in the chat, Teresa, Lorena, Mary, all who are saying that they want to write books. So you all heard what Candice just said. Everybody figures it out, and please do not let that hold you back or stop you from something that could be your purpose. Thank you, Candice. I'm excited to chat it up with you later. But I will kick it back over to Joshua.
Hey, Candice, real quick. I just, the chat is blowing up. I just had to read this comment from Olivia Barnes. Platforms definitely matter. Your platform changed the way I view religion and myself as a Black woman. And that I want us to speak that over you, because that can be said by thousands of folks around the country. And I know some of those people in those picture frames behind you are very proud of you. And so we love you and we appreciate you and all that you're doing for our community. Okay. So we'll talk to you soon. All right. Awesome. Hey, Samantha, great job. Didn't Samantha do a great job, y'all? We so appreciate all of our guests, but I got to tell you, I'm biased. I have a favorite. I have to admit to having a favorite guest tonight. We're going to get to that favorite guest in just a moment. But first, reminder to stay on to the end. We're going to do our giveaway at the very end of the call, $500 gift card giveaway that we will be executing in just a few minutes. But first, I get to introduce my other half, my better half, Michelle DuBois, who has joined us on the line, president of Values Partnerships, and my co-partner in absolutely everything. Michelle is amazing in so many respects. She was in politics for years, worked in the Obama administration. Before that, was on the Obama campaign. Where we started dating. It's a long story, and a beautiful story of connection through politics until she broke up with me, and that was
That's for another conversation.
But 2 years later, we got back together. We've been married for 10 years, and so anyway, I'm just messing with you. And she is now residing one floor above me in our house, praying that our children do not burst in on her as we have this interview for her new platform, Balanced Black Parenting. And so, hey, babe, how you doing?
Hey, babe, I'm good. The door is barricaded. I have sent all the grandparents all the notices and messages about please don't let any of my children bust through the door tonight. And so I'm really excited to be on with you. I think that my door is pretty well barricaded. And so I think I probably have a good 7 minutes before
7 minutes. Okay, we got to do this quickly
any
before
child that comes through
one
this
of
door
these
or
small
dog.
Black people burst into that room. Okay, so Michelle DuBois, this is interesting for me. I've never interviewed Michelle before. I'm never nervous, but now I'm in a nervous interview with my wife. Look at this. All right, so Michelle DuBois, let's talk about your new platform. And this is kind of in private beta. Like this is just, it's not even really out in the world yet. It's called Balanced Black Parenting, but people on the line can be the first to follow. Tell me about Balanced Black Parenting. Who is it for? What do you want to achieve? What's this all about?
That's right. So, we have 3 kids, but this is like my 4th.
How many kids we got? We got 3?
I mean, I lose count.
We got a lot of little people. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a lot of little people in this house, but this is my 4th baby, Balanced Black Parenting, and I'm really excited to share it with you all tonight. It came out of necessity, right? So 3 kids in, I am, scrolling as I'm doing bedtime, the bedtimes that seem to never end, and nap time. And I'm looking through all these parenting resources, and so many of them were not specifically made for us. They were not culturally relevant. And so I said, you know what? I think we can do this, and we can do this really well. And I want to share what I've learned about parenting, but more importantly, create a community in which other people can learn about, parenting and have conversation around what they want to know, what they've learned, what they figured out, what they want to figure out. And so Balanced Black Parenting has been birthed. And so we are, yes, in the early phases of it, but it is for Black parents that are looking for practical and culturally relevant, and most importantly, fun advice about how to parent. Because Joshua, this generation is just, they're a different breed.
They're different. They're different. Boo.
They are different.
And push into that difference a little bit. And there is a 70% chance that my mother or grandmother are on the line. And so this is not meant to offend the previous generations at all. They did a great job raising us, right, babe? They did a excellent
phenomenal job. Everybody did a phenomenal.
But the approach can no longer involve going to get a switch from the yard. I'm just kidding. That didn't happen. Let me not say that. You can't say that in 2024. But the approach has to be different today than it was before. Tell me about that difference a little bit.
Yeah, so I think our
look, my grandmother said we are here. Yes, Catherine.
Yes, Grandma Catherine. I did not say that. You did a phenomenal job. He is a wonderful man, and I'm so glad to be his wife. And so, thank you for raising him well.
She never made me go get a switch. She spanked me one time, and it literally made her cry. And so, let me not act like my grandmother was getting switches. So go ahead. Sorry,
but I think this next generation is different, and every generation is different, right? So we're not raising them for the world in which we live in today. We're raising them for the world in which they are already inheriting, right? And so I think the goal here is to make sure that our parenting is reflective of that. So we are charting our course of where we want them to be, as adults now, right? We're not just kind of feeling parenting is hard, right? Like, and I think that's part of the reason why we want this to be funny and engaging is because it's just hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. It's the hardest thing that I've done, but it's also extraordinarily rewarding. But it's nice to know when you have community in it and you guys are having fun together as you're learning. And so, yeah, so we are in the process of realizing that our kids are going to be in a different world. And so we want to parent them for that world. So we want that parenting to be intentional, thoughtful, balanced. And as parents, I think the ethos that we're trying to share with parents is it's important to be present. It's important to model things, right? Like, I think so much of my upbringing, and I think a lot of my friends, not Joshua, but a lot of my friends and other folks that I know would say from our generation, parenting look much more about creating children that were resilient. And so you stuffed and you felt like emotions were contrary to resilience. And so you stuffed your emotions away. They felt like a hindrance to where you were trying to go. And so it created a bit of a cognitive dissonance between what you were feeling and what you were ultimately telling yourself. And our goal is for our kids to not have to unlearn things. That is something that we had to unlearn. And I think things like imposter syndrome and all the things that have been talked about before, right? Those external things can warp your sense of self. And our goal is for our kids to be raised in a way that they don't have to heal from their childhood.
Wow, that's good, babe. That's good. And sorry, Michelle, I can't call you babe.
Always babe.
What type of content can people expect? I know that you're beginning with both some funny and lighthearted videos, but also some more serious advice. What can people expect from Balanced Black Parenting? And by the way, go follow the Instagram now. It's just at Balanced Black Parenting. From among those who followed during this call, we're going to do a giveaway between now and the next call, and actually give away $100 gift card to one of the new followers on Balanced Black Parenting on Instagram. And so, yeah, what kind of content can people expect, Michelle?
So I like to have fun. I love to have fun. And so you can find content that's going to be extraordinarily fun. And I'll tell you an example of what fun looks like, but it's going to be about things that are really important topics to parenting, around boundary setting, around teaching your kids how to be emotionally intelligent, and nutrition, and all the things that they need to be able to live a really well life, the life that I feel like they are intended to live, that God has intended for them to live. And so you're going to be able to find all those topics covered. And it's for parents that are from, you have infants all the way through launch. And so don't think like, well, my kid is about to go to college, this isn't relevant to me. No, it's relevant for you too. And so just think funny though. And so if you have any interest in, all the crazy cultural videos that are happening, that you see the memes of the Shannon Sharps and the Cat Williams, just know we're going to chop all of those up, and we're going to have a relevant message about parenting that is pushing you to think differently about parenting, or refining your parenting, but in a way in which you're going to laugh as you're doing it.
I love it. I love it. Expect 2 or 3 posts every day that we're just getting started. You'll be able to say, I was one of the first followers of Balanced Black Parenting, because this thing is going to grow into some podcasts and some other content that Michelle has visions for. And so please go to Instagram, follow Balanced Black Parenting. We're going to have a good time, but we're also going to get to that space where, our kids won't have to unlearn from some of the things that they are learning. And so, Michelle DuBois /babe/ my wife, love you. I will see you in approximately 7 minutes. And yes, we made it all the way through the interview without a child bursting in on you. Congratulations. Awesome. Man, this has been fun. Have y'all had a good time? It looks like it based on the chat. It's so good to see y'all. Stephanie, Dr. Deborah Hill, good to see you. Solandra Benton. Hey, Edwina, good to see you. And so many others on the line. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to do this every single month. We're going to go higher and higher and higher, lifting up what's good in our communities. Some of it's going to be light and funny and entertaining. We're going to get into issues too, because it's good when we can tackle tough issues, from voting rights to democracy to mental health and more. We're just going to keep this thing rolling. And by the way, a very happy Easter and a happy early Good Friday to all those who are worshiping and celebrating this weekend. I pray that you have a wonderful, wonderful time. We're about to move into this giveaway now, the moment that we have all been waiting for. Before we do that, I want to just shout out a few more good news things that we heard from people when they registered. Francesca from Philly said she opened her first brick and mortar business called Playology. It's an indoor play space for kids. That is awesome, Francesca. Congratulations. Lakita Emanuel said that she's starting a new business to aid women in healing heartbreak, and she just published a book of poetry. That's amazing. Reverend Waterman, Adenola Waterman French from New Rochelle, New York, is grateful to be graduating with her Doctor of Ministry degree coming up from a United Theological Seminary. That is amazing. Congratulations. And Shamira Bennett from Miami just graduated and secured a job as a registered nurse. And so we are just so proud of everyone. Now, let us get to getting it. You have to comment hashtag what's good for this feature to work. I am going to turn it over. I believe, Taylor, are you going to take it from here, or Warsan or somebody? Okay, so wait a minute. Wait. Don't press draw yet. Don't press draw. We got 107. Give folks a minute. You got to do hashtag what's good. I'm not going to do it because that would be like giving myself $500. I'm not going to do that. But keep doing it. Awesome. Great. Got a lot of people. Some people opted out, but a lot of people opted in. No, we had well over. Jonica, you can't do it. You work for us. Nope. Do you see? Y'all, could y'all please get Jonica Armstrong? She is doing hashtag what's good, and she works for Values Partnerships. It's a conflict of interest, Jonica. All righty. We got folks. We're going to give people a minute for those entries to increase. Keep commenting what's good. What happened to the music, Alex? I thought you were going to put the scratch on, man, or a little Jeopardy music.
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good?
Okay. I think it's still going. I want to make sure everybody go ahead and do hashtag what's good. We got to wait for all of this to tick up. I'm sorry it's taking so long. This is our first time ever doing this. And we want to make sure that everybody gets their entry in so that it is fair and square. Team, should we do the draw? What do you think? No, it's still going up. And y'all are still hashtagging. If you don't win the 500, Sherry said, can we get the book? We will do some kind of giveaway for the books. Yes, because we're going to order a box of Deesha's books. And so for those who don't win, we will try to find. So that's a great idea. You have not because you asked not. Thank you, Sherry. It is still going up. I don't want to cut this off because I want to make sure there's an equal opportunity for everybody to get it. So I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like I should do some stand-up comedy.
What's good? What's good?
Wait, I hear this every ride. Alex, you say you don't want to do stand-up comedy?
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good?
Can you bring down
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good?
Okay, I think we're almost there. Jonica said we should take one more minute or 30 more seconds. She asked for a dad joke. Let me see. I think I got one. How do you follow Will Smith in the snow? You follow the Fresh Prince. Get it? I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. That's horrible. Now nobody's going to come to the call next month because of that joke. Okay. All right. I think it's time to do the drawing. Let's do it. Kimberly Largest, you get a gift card, and you get a gift card. Pull up Kimberly Largest. I hope she's still on. If you ain't on, it don't count. We're going to do it again. Kimberly, you there? Somebody pull up Kimberly. Kimberly, you there? Can we somehow get you on? Do you have a camera? She's here. Congratulations, Kimberly. I don't know if we can pull you up on the camera. I don't know if it's going to work. I think the team might be trying. Let's just give it a moment. We're going to give it a second to see if we can get Kimberly on the lines. Somebody tell me something. Samantha just texted me, those books are $30 a copy. Please don't give them away to everybody on the call. Hey, Kimberly, I know you weren't expecting to be on TV tonight. How you doing?
I was not.
Hey,
Great.
What's up? Oh, Greg! Wait a minute. Oh, man. I promise y'all this is not a setup. You happen to know this gentleman right here, but that was not a setup. Did we arrange anything at all?
It was not.
Hey, Kimberly, congratulations on winning a $500 gift card. We will get that over to you. Look at God. We're going to do this every month, y'all, so come back. And we will be giving away copies of Deesha's book and a lot of other things. And so congratulations. That's all we wanted. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right. Y'all, I hope you've had a good time tonight. I certainly have. Can you join me before we wrap up in thanking the team that put this on? Warsan Helene, Alex Blanc, Taylor Mason, Chris Diggs, Samantha Williams. They were the ones that really created this atmosphere of joy and love that we felt tonight. And so huge thanks, especially to Warsan, our fearless leader, and Taylor and Alex and Samantha and Chris, who played huge parts of this. So y'all have a wonderful evening. We will be back next month. It's going to be dope. We're going bigger, better, higher, and most importantly, even more love shared amongst us. So blessings and have a great Easter for all who are celebrating. Thank you. And yeah, community.
What's good? 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 What's good?